We are finally getting the new Superman update, including the new Superman POI, but this isn't coming out until the day before FNCS. I'll talk about what this is going to do to FNCS and how I think it's going to change the meta, because we now have 2 new exotics coming out and a super speed boon. If this is added into competitive, it could completely change the game. I also want to talk about what's going on at Demon's Domain, and no, I'm not just talking about Pete and Poyo. We now have a 3rd team contesting on EU. So we have Malabuka versus Queasy, and now a 3rd team deciding they want to get involved with that spawn fight. I will also talk about Pete versus Poyo. They went at it 5 times in pro scrims, and right now the tide of this one is changing. Peterbot is currently taking the edge over Poyo, but I'll talk about how the spawn fight's going and show you guys some clips. So there's lots to talk about. Let's jump into it. Fortnite just dropped their blog post breaking down everything about the new Superman update, and we finally have our first look at the new POI, the Fortress of Solitude. Kind of. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, Fortnite has decided they don't want to add this POI into the game today on the 11th because no, that would be way too far out from FNCS. We need to make sure we add this new POI the day before FNCS. So for whatever reason, Fortnite has decided the update is going live today. As you watch this video, you might be able to jump in and play the new Superman update. I'm going to be talking about what they've leaked today before I've played it. I might make another video tomorrow talking about how it's actually changed the game. But one of the major parts of this update, one of the things I was most excited for that I was probably going to wait to make this video was the new POI, because this is what I think is going to change the game the most right now, and Fortnite decided to drop it on the 15th. They said, take refuge. Starting July 15th, look no further than Superman's Fortress of Solitude for a superhero home base. An icy castle straight out of the Arctic tundra. The protector of Metropolis will be here offering services in exchange for bars. Now, again, we're going to have to guess what this is like. If you don't know, we already know where this POI is going to be on the map. If you look at the map right now, there's like a frozen lake on the very far south of the map, right behind this mountain. Yes, that is the Fortress of Solitude. So already, unfortunately, an absolutely terrible spot to put a new POI, because no one wants to drop here. No one wants to go here. I'm not just talking in competitive, because Storm Surge would be an absolute nightmare. In pubs and ranks, like, if you drop here right now, by the time you leave this POI and you get over the mountain, I swear there's going to be less than 30 people alive in your game, and you've only just left the POI. So not the most exciting spot, but I'm still excited to see how good this POI is. I think it could still change the game. It might be like maybe like a good like tier 2 drop. Again, I don't think it's going to be good enough to have like, you know, Pete or Poyo leave to go here. Maybe. We do now know we are going to have the Superman power-up in the game. That is what is coming out in today's update. You can now become Superman, fly around with super speed and shoot laser beams out of your eyes, all that craziness. I'm just going to guess that's not going to be in competitive, so I don't think that's going to change the competitive meta at all. It hopefully will be fun, because I've talked about this a whole bunch, but the player base right now is looking pretty bleak in Battle Royale. Regular pub Battle Royale, not too bad, but I actually saw a new low that I never thought I would ever see for the ranked playlist. We had less players playing the ranked Battle Royale than Fortnite Festival. Across all of the regions in this game, there was less people choosing to play ranked than playing Fortnite Festival. Basically, Guitar Hero Fortnite. I'm not flaming you. If you enjoy playing Fortnite Festival, all power to you. I'm happy for you, but I never ever thought I would see this day. So maybe these Superman powers will help the ranked player base. I don't think so, because most people in ranked want to play a serious competitive game mode. I think the idea of having Superman fly at them and shoot laser beams out of his eyes and blast their base is probably even less exciting. So we might even see the ranked player base get even worse. But in pubs, I'm sure it's going to be fun. I mean, these kind of game modes are always pretty enjoyable. You know, when you become Godzilla, when you do all these different stuff, when you become Thanos. But one of the main things a lot of people complain about is, what if I don't want to verse Superman? What if I don't want to have a guy with super speed and super strength and health flying at my box and shooting lasers out of their eyes? Unfortunately, you go play Reload, which is what I think is probably going to happen to a lot of people with this update. Call me a downer. I'm sorry. If you're super excited to be Superman, I'm happy for you. But only one player per game is going to become Superman. They've described it as once you deal enough damage to Superman, they will then drop the thing that turns you into Superman. I don't know if that means someone else can then pick it up, or whether you're just, that's it. One person becomes Superman. If they die, that's it. No one else is Superman for the rest of the game. I guess we'll have to wait and see. One thing that I do think is going to change the game in a positive way potentially, and could affect competitive, is the new boon. So we now have the man faster than a speeding bullet brought with him the new surging speed boon. Findable in chests or at Academy Tech Labs, it makes you sprint faster and consume less energy. With the amount of energy you consume reduced, the higher your hero rank, you'll sprint very fast at rank S. If this is in competitive, this is going to be a game change. A boon that lets you sprint faster, especially very fast at rank S, is going to be amazing. There is no guarantee this will be in competitive, but I am quite excited for it. One of the things that I think is one of the biggest missed opportunities this season is having the rank up feel more special. I think it'd be really cool when you rank up that it actually does make you more and more powerful throughout the game. I've been arguing that when you hit the S+ rank up, the heal that you should get should be like the speed of Siphon, which sounds crazy, but I feel like it would be a cool addition. The whole rank up is the main theme of this season, and kind of feels like whatever. Like, are you like, oh my gosh, guys, we're about to hit S rank, let's go? You don't really care. Like, it doesn't really do that much. And I think maybe this boon ranking up as you rank up and getting stronger and stronger, especially making you run really fast at rank S, could be the buff that I've been looking for to the like rank up system. I'm super excited for that one. Overall, the rest of the update doesn't look like it's going to change that much, except for there are more Academy labs around the map now. So if you guys don't know, the Academy Tech Labs are the labs around the map where you go into them, you can buy stuff off the walls, and you get a guaranteed rift. That's one of the biggest reasons why these are so important, especially in competitive. So they've said, science, more Academy Tech Labs have opened up around the island, meaning more items for purchase. This includes the exotic bounce grenade, which bounces multiple times and explodes on each bounce. More bang for the bar. And then there's the exotic unstable thunderclap DMR, fire an explosive bullet every 3 shots that damages all nearby players. I don't think either of those are going to be going to competitive. I would be very surprised if they do. If they do, you probably buy them with gold, which in competitive, you don't really get enough gold to buy these anyway. So I don't think they'll have a huge impact, but these tech labs in general do. Even if you can buy nothing at the tech lab, being able to go into them and get a guaranteed rift is very, very big. And if we get one of these very close to Superman's PY, there's already a few of them, that spawns regularly, that would be massive. Because again, one of the main reasons why I've thought this Superman PY won't change the game that much is because of where it is on the map. If you can drop there, get a bunch of loot, unfortunately in the Superman trailer that you've already been seeing playing in the background earlier in the video, we didn't get to see the PY that much. We didn't really get to see what's going on inside. So I don't know how much loot is going to be in this PY. We're going to have to wait until the day before FNCS to find out. If you can rift out of here and get over that mountain quickly, it might actually be a semi-viable drop. So I'm excited to see about these Academy Tech Labs being added to the game. This could also buff other PYs. These are the kind of updates that have such a big effect on the game, and unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your drop spot and your situation, having them right before FNCS means a lot of things change up. We could have one of these pop up right next to the resistance base. That means now teams like Muzz dropping the resistance base and Mr. Savage potentially have a huge buff because now they have a guaranteed rift near them in certain games. So I'm excited to see how this changes the game again. I don't know how many of the things in this update are going to come out with the actual update on the 15th or which ones are coming out with the Superman update. It looks like, based on what I'm reading and stuff from the leakers, the Superman aspect, being able to turn into Superman and fly around, is going to be coming out in today's update, but a lot of the other stuff is actually coming out on the 15th, which does make sense, not because it's right before FNCS, but it makes sense that Epic is currently on their summer break still. So when they want to add a bunch of stuff to the game that could break, they want to have more hands on deck to fix it. I'm guessing that's why they pushed it back to the 15th, the day before FNCS. I don't think that was a choice by them. I don't think they're trying to spice up FNCS to make it exciting. I think it's just unfortunate timing because they happen to go away. So FNCS has to start quickly because they're running out of time this season, basically. Remember, guys, if you're buying any of the cosmetics in the new update, please use code Aussie in the Fortnite item shop. I always forget to tell you guys why I'm recording this after I made the video. Please, thank you so much. It really does mean a lot to me. All right, back to the video. While we've been focusing on P versus Poyo at Demon's Domain on NA, and don't worry, I'll talk about that in a second because we got to see them go at it 5 times in the pro scrims, we have a new team throwing their hat in the ring on EU. And I say a new team, if you haven't been following, Malibuca's been going Demon's Domain on EU. We thought he had uncontested. Queasy has since decided in the summer break he's going to start contesting Malibuca. So Queasy and Malibuca, 2 of the best teams in the world, both already qualified for LAN, going head to head. And there is now a new team that wants to get in the middle of that. And if I had to tell you, which team do you think would want to contest 2 players already qualified for LAN, 2 teams already qualified for LAN with an insanely proven record of never leaving drop spots, going toe-to-toe with the best, throwing entire FNCSs and LAN events to not leave a drop? It is, of course, the Frenchies. Now, this isn't the same Frenchies we've seen doing this a whole bunch recently. Queasy is obviously being contested by many French teams now. We have Xweezy, Artskill, and Ketz saying they're going to be going there. Podesai, I'm guessing Ketz is their coach, I believe, because I don't think 4 people are going to be going here. So Podesai has announced that Xweezy, him, and Artskill are going to be dropping here, and there's a lot of debate around drop spots in Fortnite. We've had this discussion many times. If you're an up-and-coming player, or if you're a player in general, should you go a worse drop that's uncontested, and then you might not have the best loop? You can, play your game out, you can get the practice in, you get the experience, or do you contest a much better drop so that you won't make it off spawn as often, but when you do, you have a lot better loot to show for it, so you can go on to do better, right? You either get 12 games with, sticks and stones, a green shotgun, gray AR, and bandages, or do you have your, 3 or 4 games with mythic loot, right? That's always been the discussion, and I don't think either one is 100% correct. A lot of the top tier pros will tell you need to go a worse drop, build up your reputation, get placements, and then you earn the right to contest top tier drops. But there's a lot of politics in that. There's a lot of bias, obviously. I think there is a lot of merit to learning how to go a not so good drop to develop as a player. But one thing I will say is there are teams that have proven that even going these mythic PYs, these really good PYs, do not pay off for them. And the French seem to be doing that a lot. Now, Frenchies, I love you. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. I plan to be in globals in France, so I really don't want the French fans against me. I just don't understand every single time there is a phenomenal, already land qualified team going a good drop spot, it always seems to be the French that want to contest them. And for the most part, it almost never ends well. And I have to imagine at Demon's Domain with 2 teams already there, it's not going to end well. Now, if this was Malabuka there uncontested and Xweezy's team wanted to con them, maybe they level up their spawn fighting, maybe they pop off, they make it off spawn 7, 8 times and go on to have a crazy grand. I can see that. But up against Queasy and Malabuka, when both teams have already qualified for LAN, so they've got less to play for than what you do, and they've proven they're willing to throw grand finals, even Malabuka having thrown multiple LAN events being contested on LAN, and he still doesn't leave. What are we doing? I can't imagine this is going to be a good decision. So we'll see. It's going to be spicy to watch. I was actually looking more forward to seeing Queasy versus Malabuka, because when it's 2 teams, you kind of get that Pete versus Poyo who comes out on top. When it's 3 teams, it kind of gets a little bit too messy. It'll still be fun to watch, don't get me wrong, but I'm not really sure what's going through the Frenchies' minds here, but I'd love them to prove me wrong. I think it's going to be incredibly sad, potentially, that we're going to have a France Globals with no French players. Gentlemates, Havoc, and the French orgs are going to be bringing the fans, they're going to bring the vibes. That's going to be amazing, but right now, we have no qualified French player going to LAN, and right now Xweezy's team was one of the favorites to potentially do it. I would say probably them and Akira's team doing really well last grand finals, came second the first Div Cup this season. So outside of Xweezy, there is still a chance for a French team to qualify LAN, but Podesai, Xweezy, and Artskill are 3 of the most decorated current French players, so we'll see how this goes for them. Gonna be interesting to watch. Now, I'm not gonna do a game-by-game breakdown of the P vs Poyo off spawn. Some of you guys might still love that, but I know we've talked about it a lot. But it is worth mentioning, Pete said he was gonna lock back in, he was gonna start grinding scrims again, and he has. We got to see Pete's full trio versus Poyo's full trio in 5 games today. It should have been 6, but Poyo didn't load into one of the games. But 5 games in pro scrims, including them all playing the first session. This is the first time Pete's whole trio has played the first session of scrims in what feels like weeks now. So it looks like they are locked in and grinding, and it's showing on the leaderboard. Pete's team brought it home with a 4-1 off spawn. So we had Poyo's team beating out Pete's team 5-1 in the Div Cup finals. Since then, we've seen them go at it as far as I've watched, because again, I've been away, but I'm pretty sure I went back and looked and it wasn't both full trios. But in the last 3 sessions, we've had them go at it. It was 3-3, so pretty even. Pete and Poyo both getting 3 each. Then the last session a couple days ago, we had Pete's team take it home 2-1 off spawn, but it was a little bit scrappy. There's a couple times things could have gone differently, whatever. But then today, 4-1. So Pete's team going from being even to now 2-1 and 4-1. Now again, it is just scrims. Pete fans were quick to point out when Poyo was dominating at the start, it's just scrims. It doesn't count unless it's a tournament. Honestly, fair. Right now, Poyo's team is still very much pulling ahead in tournaments, but right now, Pete's team is looking like they're bringing it back. Now, these are some pretty scrappy fights. I do want to show you one clip to sum up just how scrappy these fights were. This is actually the one round that Peterbot lost. Pete's going to try and go for the floor. He cancels the res again. Peterbot, ice in his veins. Peterbot was born for this. Can he make it happen? Doesn't take the stare, but he flips it. But Daigo chops him down. Daigo is getting active. Apparently, he's a Poyo fan. My man with the assist. Pete gets dropped down twice and goes down to full damage. After this video, you guys can go through the VODs of me watching the scrims if you want as well and make your own judgments. Honestly, they are very, very fun spawn fights to watch right now. It looks like Pete's team is starting to get a little bit more of their foot in the door on what's going on in the spawn fights. Ritual and Cold both have their drops locked in. Pete has consistently been nailing his drops, but it looks like we're seeing some development in the spawn fight. Less often now is it a straight 50-50 for the top where everyone either wins or dies at the top. Now it's dragging out. Teams are leaving. Fights are going down. We had Acorn going down to fall damage because he jumped out the window going for a Hail Mary on Pete. We had Pete, as you just saw, going down to Daigo trying to break it. The fights are getting a lot more exciting. It's not just who gets down first now and gets the gun. We've actually seen multiple times teams win after getting down last and not getting the guns because they play down the bottom, they lurk around. We've talked about why the teams don't do this. The main thing is because a quick 50-50 at the top at least means whichever team wins gets to go on and have a good tournament. They can go on to close out their game. And pretty much right now, when Pete's team makes it off spawn, they average a 20 elim win or a top 2. There are 3 or 4 games in scrims today they actually played out because in the last game after they won, they literally built up a giant staircase and dropped off and died because they didn't even want to play the scrim out. They just wanted to beat Poyo off spawn and that's it. They didn't even want the practice, which is kind of insane, especially after I'm talking about, oh, Pete's locked back in, he's grinding. But you can blame them all you want for that, but honestly, based on the games I was seeing, they don't need the practice. Their first game in the scrim session, they dropped a 30 elim game. They got multiple 20 or 30 elim top 2s, so they are popping off when they make it off spawn. That is definitely not a concern right now, and one of the main reasons is because they do have a quick spawn fight. If this spawn fight starts dragging out anymore, players start lurking behind buildings, trying to rotate out, come back in, things will start to get a lot messier, but it could potentially see one team maybe beating them out on spawn. But right now, both teams are locked into a relatively quick fight. Even when they swerve off, they usually try to fight pretty quickly. No one's like flying to the edge of the PY, looting around the outsides and coming back in. So we'll have to see. But right now, we're going to grands with this spawn fight. No one is leaving. Lastly, I did want to talk about the Milk Cup. It's a $300,000 female-only Fortnite circuit that's going on in NA, and we have what I think is potentially the future of the NA female scene. Now, Frantic, you've very much heard of, especially recently if you've been watching any of the, I can't believe I'm going to say this, Frigs content. I'm a 31-year-old man. I don't care about that, but you've almost definitely heard about Frantic. She's a very well-known face in the female scene, does a lot of tokens with the pros, does a lot of zone wars, been making a bunch of content. Phenomenal player. Without a doubt, she was IGLing exceptionally well in this tournament, but the main player I want to focus on here is her teammate, who she says in her mind is the best player she has ever played, which is Canary. Now, this team got 405 points in 6 matches. They got a 9 elim win, 5 elim third, 7 elim win, 10 elim win, 8 elim second, and a 7 elim second. Absolutely insane consistency. Now, Canary did also make it to the last chance qualifier finals in the regular FNCS scene, so I know a lot of people, when they look at the female Fortnite scene, think that these players only do well when they're versing other female players. I truly think Canary will be making a grand finals in the near future. I don't know about this season. If not this season, I am so convinced next year, unless something goes wrong with her development, she is looking like a phenomenal up-and-coming talent. I think she's 15 years old, on mouse and keyboard, absolutely dominating. So I'm super excited to see this one develop. They didn't absolutely run away with the Milk Cup as well. This was the $30,000 main qualifiers. There are 3 main qualifiers, $30,000 in each one. Top 50 doers from those 3 are going to go through to the LAN event, the finals, which is going to take place October 18th at TwitchCon. I'll hopefully be attending for the $210,000 LAN event. But Daya and Yasmin in second place on 344 also had an exceptional tournament. If it wasn't for how insane Frantic and Canary played, their 344 points would look even more impressive. In third place, we had Nina and Vader. No surprise there. They've been dominating the Milk Cup scene for a while now. Then we had Regs and Moxie coming in 4th overall. So pretty much the 4 favorites coming into the event, they did have almost a 100-point lead on the rest of the lobby. So they, all 4 of them absolutely popped off, but I did want to take a chance to focus on Canary because I do think you guys will see Canary on major actual in-game leaderboards, not just the Milk Cup as well. Now, I don't know if Canary is going to keep playing trios with Frantic. We have FNCS around the corner. We'll see. Last season, she did not play with Frantic when it came to the last chance finals, so I don't know if Canary is going to team up with male teammates when it comes to trios like she has been, or whether she will stick with Fran because they have clearly been improving like crazy as a duo. They're looking insane, but I wanted to give a bit of gas to Canary because I do think this is a name that you should be keeping an eye on. I've talked a bunch about Alba in the past. Alba has placed top 25 in the EU solos multiple times as a female Fortnite player, and I think Canary right now is the future, at least especially in the NA scene.